Another round on the Twin Rivers. This one is going to be Heaven versus Bravo, and both of these guys took UEF. So we're going to be seeing an exactly symmetrical challenge on this one. Heaven is going for a double land factory opening, which I think we did see from one of the guys last time. I do not remember which one it was because apparently I have the memory of a goldfish. That's going to be a 7 power generator build, and first engineer out is going to come to the rear to actually grab the mass extractors. Bravo is going to go second air, so there's a little bit of a deviation from the pattern. He has got his power generators moving up first, going out for manual reclaim with the engineer that builds the mass extractor on this side. So he is using kind of a similar build to the one that Zlo had earlier. He will strike that eco balance, actually exactly the same since he queued up to this side instead of that one. There is more mass in this one thanks to the large 113 rock instead of all of the tiny little rocks that you have to manually reclaim down this side. And he is doing a similar thing with his engineers, although he is getting the closer expansion first with his first Engie, second Engie. So that is, again, a little bit of a deviation from the builds that we have seen before. Heaven grabbing those as well, then going to get the manual reclaim with his engineer. Lots and lots of move orders placed. That's another one of the differences between the higher rank 1v1 players and the lower. APM makes a big deal. Subcom, it probably makes the least deal of any of the hardcore RTSs because it is not quite the click fest that some like StarCraft and others are. However, APM does make a big difference when you're able to lay in all of those manual reclaim orders that will be able to increase your economy in the early game and let you build, you know, that extra 1 or 2 tanks that the opponent did not. Looks like we have some raiding parties out for Bravo. He's got 2 Mech Marines and a Scout. We do have a Mech Marine and a Scout from Heaven as well, a singular Mech Marine, and that one is probably going to loop all the way around into the rear of the base. Got another Mech Marine for Bravo as well. That would make 3 total, and that one is moving over to the left-hand side to help guard the engineer that is over there. Also, another Mech Marine and a Scout. So that's 4 total in double Mech Marine, single Scout groups. That is probably going to be enough to deny this. Single Mech Marine going to contact, and then the second is going to be in range to intercept. A little bit of an attempt to micro there. Even the Mech Marines miss each other. Snoop finishing off that Mech Marine so that there is not a clear victor. But I think that was a microing win for Bravo. And Bravo now backing up to see what this thing is. You should probably be able to tell from the speed with which it is moving that that is a Land Scout. And there is a tank on the way. So you don't want to mess with that junk. Alright, Mech Marines moving around to the left. Looks like Heaven has queued up everything in the rear. Has got an air factory going down in his base after land factory number 3. Second air factory in the rear. 2 more land factories to the right-hand side for a total of 5 land factories, 2 air factories. On the north, we have third land factory going down. Already have an air factory with another land factory in the back. So that is a total of 5 land factories, 1 air factory for Bravo. So Bravo, right off the bat, not building as much build power as Heaven is, which is going to lead to some significant problems later in the game if he does not rectify this situation. Also, 4 more land factories queued for Heaven. That is a full-on T1 land spam build, though Heaven is going to be swarming the map with strikers, and all the more power to him if he is able to use that to his advantage. That little Snoop is going to sit right here in the back with his dinky little 2 DPS gun. That's a huge difference from the Spirit, because the Spirit only has 1 DPS. But it is still going to die to a striker in 2 hits. I wonder if you microed hard enough. Is the turning radius small enough on a Snoop that it could actually dodge tank shots, and you could theoretically destroy a tank with a Snoop? I do know that the Snoop outranges it. It would be an interesting thing to find out. Somebody needs to try this and get back to me. T1 Bomber coming in. Bravo is going to try to take out some P-Gens and some engineers. He is going to be successful in the prior and not so much in the latter. There's not an interceptor out yet, though, so Heaven is going to have to deal with this bomber for a couple more passes. Inti away will be able to land some hits. And that bomber was not focus fired on the P-Gens. Could have actually successfully killed the P-Gens if he had been targeted that way, because he did get a third pass, which is not quite going to do enough damage to actually take those out. Shame to see, shame to see. Mech Marine finally getting pinned down in the rear there. It looks like neither player as of yet is going for the outside expansions. I do like the wall sections over here. Bravo probably realizing how much spam has been scheduled on the other side of the map. He is now building more land factories. He's got his 4th going down in the main base, total of 8 there, with 2 more on the outside, totaling 10. And then on the south side, we have 3, 6, 11 scheduled, with 2 more for a total of 13 on the right side. Heaven still just far surpassing his opponent in scheduled builds. It's going to be interesting to see whether one of these guys shifts to T2 relatively early. We've already got a T2 mass extractor upgrade going down for Heaven. Of course, there is plenty of reclaim to pull this off if you're getting the manual reclaim that's scattered around these gray chunks. On the other side of the map, does not look like, as of yet, we have a T2 mechs scheduled. Heaven is also a little bit behind on his claiming of the rear mass extractors, but he is ahead on the front mass extractors. So the economy should be running relatively evenly between these two players. Of course, we will take a look in just a second after we make sure that nothing interesting is going to happen with these run-bys. So lots of units coming down to the south corner of the map from Bravo. He is probably, nope, he's going to pull back. He has spotted a tank and scout over here. Going to secure those and then move down to the south side. On the left, looks like tanks have stalled from Heaven, so we're not going to see a whole lot of movement at the current moment. Looks like Heaven is raking in 43 mass per tick and is about to hit the hard end of a power stall. Oh, minus 140 there at one point. Bravo, 47 per tick, also minus on power, but is recovering quite nicely. Looks like Heaven did a minor adjustment that is lessening his power stall to a certain degree, but he is still far, far behind. He needs to get more T1 power up. There's his mass stall, and now he's okay. So the reclaim is putting him negative. When he doesn't have reclaim, he is fine. Not exactly super well balanced, but he did recover, so it is okay. Alright, sweet. Go take a look back over here. Got 3 tanks moving over on the left. Those are going to try to flank, move into the back. That could actually be a very valuable run-by if he moves in and kills the 2 T2 engineers that have the power queue. Because there's always a chance, sometimes a slim chance, but there's always a chance that if you kill the engineers responsible for the power queue, your opponent is just going to straight up forget to build power. Looks like we've got a much more dispersed power grid for Bravo than Heaven has. Heaven is building all of his power in one location, as you see here, whereas Bravo is spreading his power build out slightly and using that adjacency. That is a T2 factory upgrade. What? He is going for that early in this game. There's already a T2 up for Heaven as well, so both of these guys are going to have pre-10-minute T2 factories. ACU with very little backup engaging over here for Heaven. He is going to have to pull his units over. This is actually not good at all. There's enough tanks here to cause him some problems, but it does look like Bravo is not going to overextend. He sees the interceptors over his head. He sees the units coming this direction, and he has decided to pull back. Heaven using his ACU to try to fend off these units. He's going to move over this way, build a T1 point defense. He should finish that, rather. T1 engineer that probably died was the one that was building it, and now Heaven is going to have to pull all of his units back over here to defend against Bravo's push. This is going to turn into an interesting fight. Heaven absolutely heavily outnumbered on the right-hand side. He is now going to have to split his forces in hopes of saving his commander. This might be it. He may not be able to bring this back. That is going to be a lot of damage. He's pulling around the corner. He does have a T1 point defense online. May bring a seconds online before those units hit him, and he is going to be able to save his ACU above half health even. But on the left, he is going to lose a T1 mass extractor, and this run-by is not actually as bad as I thought it was going to be. Only a handful of units got by. He is going to get hit in the front again. And the total number of units on the map may still favor Bravo, but that was a brilliant denial by Heaven. Excellent unit movement there. Now he's building pillars, so he is going to be able to use those to crush the T1 units remaining on the front. There are pillars streaming in from Bravo's side as well, and he has got a T2 support factory on that side. And it looks like all of these are staying T1. Nope, there's a T2 support on this side as well. So he is going to be building a lot more T2 than Heaven is. Bravo also pushing up with his ACU. He's going to be able to help with this fight to try to secure some more land control. 1, 2, 3, 4 pillars in one spot on the left versus 3. But there's a lot more T1 on this side, so Heaven is still going to be able to defend himself. Heaven slipping a little bit on map control, although he does have extra mass extractors on this side, so that is going to alleviate his economy problems to a certain degree. I forgot I'm in the live replay, so I can actually just do this now. Heaven at 65 mass per tick versus 49 for Bravo. And it looks like he is ahead on power as well. So should he be able to maintain the map control that he has left and swing this fight in his favor, he will win the war of attrition. Got 2 support factory upgrades going there. Looks like the rest are still continuing to build T1. T1 over there as well. Not as many T2s scheduled. We'll have to see how that works out for him. On this side, still assistance on the T2, and in the rear, we've now got a lot more air factories. That's going to mean a stronger air presence from Bravo. Heaven does currently own air, but he does not have a significant number of interceptors. So 2 or 3 minutes of production from that many air factories will put Bravo in the lead. Bit of a pause there, probably a little bit of a power problem. Pillars moving over to try and intercept this larger group. Quite a diversion of units to this side from Bravo. He is going to be able to outnumber his opponent. Oh no. This might be the steamroll that collapses it. Heaven pulled too many of his units over to the right to try to push in ahead. The T2 power is going to go down, and that is going to be a devastating blow. Heaven is going to need a miracle to pull back from this one. Pillars moving out, tanks moving to the right and not to the front. Move orders have been shifted so that now they will move to the proper positions. Lost the T2 engineers as well, so he'll not be able to rebuild those power generators very soon. Heaven dropped down to 720 power and is headed towards a power stall. He does still have enough to run a radar, but he does not possess a radar. And that is going to be the unit sweep that comes down on Heaven's head. Units out of place on both sides. Can he survive this? I think the answer is no. Too many T2s, no power to overcharge, and he lost the better part of his base. That is depressing. Bravo picking up that win with just slightly better unit movement. Heaven misplaced his units just a couple of times. There was a hair's breadth difference between the win and the loss in that game. Heaven had the stronger economy, the stronger build power. I think he would have won that if he hadn't diverted those units. Oh man, he's got to be kicking himself on that one. That is going to wrap everything up for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, feel free to drop a like and share it with someone. If you want to support the channel, catch the streams, or join the Discord, check out the links in the description. Thank you all for being at least partially insane, and I will see you in the next one.